Hey, listeners.
Hello.
We are in the middle of May and we're just complaining about how hot it is where we are recording from. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, apologize for the hot mess.
The sweaty. Yeah.
Um,
So hot.
yeah, so hot. And we have like noise interference. I live like by an airport. Nadia lives by a major street that has ambulances that come by all the time. So her window is closed, so that doesn't come through on recording. And actually, my doors are open. So you'll probably hear all the airplanes that pass by.
I haven't
I've
before,
never
so I
had the
don't
doors
think
open before.
that's
Can
an
you not
issue.
hear the airplane that's passing by right now?
I can. So maybe
Speaking of
never
which,
mind.
are like how much does noise bother you? Because I think our next door neighbors have complained multiple times on um what is that website that people complain on? Neighborhoods complain on? No, there's another one
Neighborhood.com.
where people just like complain about each other.
I'm sorry. What's it called?
It'll come to us.
Um, I don't think neighborhood.com is. I don't think that's
Yeah,
what it's
so
called.
they often write on it. Yes, next door.
Nextdoor.
I knew it
It's
started with
called
an N.
Nextdoor.
Yes. So they've complained multiple times about the airplanes, and actually, unless I'm recording with you, I don't even notice the airplanes.
Yeah, but that's just because we've
Yeah, I
lived there for so long. I
think
feel like I
so.
just kind of got used to it. I mean, like, genuinely, what are you gonna do? Even if you do complain, I don't really think that there's anything they could do about that. It'd just be like, move
Yeah,
away from
yeah. I
the
mean, the airport
airport.
was here before where the neighborhood was, but I think the thought is that there have been more planes that have passed
Mhm.
by, like this, the frequency. So maybe more airplanes are allowed to take off and land in that airport. So maybe that's the
Mm,
issue. What I do hear is my other neighbor's dog that
yeah.
barks often. Um, I think that one hurts my
Yeah.
feelings a little bit, when I hear the poor dog suffering.
It's more so that it just happens when you don't want the dog to be barking, so but yeah, it is sad. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, that's another reason why I can't have my windows open is I have really bad allergies. So, it's just kind of like a guessing game of whether or not I wanna wake up with my eyes puffy or if I just wanna be hot and sweaty all night.
um, Okay, but that is not what I wanted to talk to you about today. Today, what I've been thinking we should talk about is what your state of mind is regarding money. You are approaching the end of your
Mhm.
second to last semester of school, which happens to be at your school. You are working. You've been working for 5 months now, and you have 1 month left, and you're getting paid about
Mhm.
minimum wage, and you're happy that you're getting that. Um, and it
It's
yeah,
more than minimum wage, but yes,
it's less
feels
than
like it.
minimum wage in California, but more than minimum wage in Boston, I think, something like that.
Is it? I'm not sure if it is. Maybe just in San Mateo County, but this is
Yeah.
definitely more than
Did you
minimum wage
know
in
that
Boston.
your friend, Lauren, who's going to school in Pennsylvania, that minimum wage there is $8 an hour?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, especially in
Yeah,
those
but I mean, like,
populated
you know,
cities.
yeah, it doesn't seem worthwhile for her to spend her time. To her, she's like, why would I work at less than half the amount that I would get paid when I'm in California? Is what she's thinking. So she'd rather like take more classes
Yeah.
or, um, yeah, graduate sooner. Yeah. Anyway, so you are coming upon the end of
Yeah.
your second to last
Yeah.
semester. You have 1 semester left of school, which, and you've
Mhm.
had many friends graduate already. So you know what the job shopping is like, and you are right now faced with the, problem
Mhm.
of being able to support yourself as an independent adult because as I've told you since the start of your college that the plan was to reduce your allowance. You got an allowance, which you're lucky that you got an allowance, right? Because some kids have to pay for tuition and living expenses,
Mhm.
but we paid your tuition, plus you got a couple loans out.
Mhm.
And then we've paid for your rent and given you an allowance. And now that's coming to an end. It's reduced over the years, your allowance, and now that support is coming to an end. And I just want to hear from your words, like how how you're thinking about it. How does it feel?
Mhm. Well, I mean, like you said, you've been telling me this like my entirety of me being in college and maybe even before that too, so I knew it was happening. And I do have one more semester left, so like there's a little bit of a buffer after I end this job in June, but I don't know, it definitely I don't think I've ever felt in my entirety of being in college, even though I've had a job at least, let me think. 1, 2, 3. How many semesters have I been in college now?
You've been in, yeah, 7, you
Um,
8th.
I guess this is
Mhm.
my 8th semester. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think at least 5 or 6 out of the semesters that I've been in college, and one of them was when I was abroad. The one of them that I wasn't having a job was in college. I'm sorry. One of them that I didn't have a job was when I was studying abroad in Greece. So I couldn't get a job there. But like, I've never really felt like I had enough, like, I never felt like super comfortable with the amount of money that I had, even though I like was able to be supported by you guys and did not have to pay my rent. Just things in general in Boston cost a lot of money, and living in a city makes it so like there's maybe a lot of other things that I pay for that I mean probably aren't necessary but are just part of like living in Boston, and the things that I want to do cost the money, so like I have to pay it. I feel like even on co-ops, because I get paid a little amount, but like it is more than minimum wage, so that it is nice. But it doesn't ever feel like, you know, okay, now I have a full-time job so I can, be a little more free with the money that I'm spending. I feel like I felt that I was a little bit like more carefree my first co-op. Um, and then I went abroad last summer and had jobs in between then, and I just feel like it was a little bit less looking at saving and more like looking at, being able to afford the opportunity, like being like going abroad and doing the stuff that I did there, which I don't regret it at all. But now I'm kind of having to limit the amount. Um, I guess, I don't know if limit is the right word, but save a lot more of what I'm getting paid to pay for my rent in the future. Um, which means I just feel like I'm kind of living, um, I don't know if paycheck to paycheck is the right word at all, because it's not like I have to pay my rent right now or anything like that, but definitely have to be more mindful. And I think I'm already looking to see like what jobs I need to get next semester, and I don't think I can get just one. I think I might need two or something like that, because I don't think that I'll be able to afford to live in Boston like on my own, which is like not necessarily just like a me saving money type of thing. It's more just like it's expensive to live here. Um and Yeah, so I feel like money has been a big thing in college. I don't think I ever really thought about it, luckily, when I was in high school, but also I didn't do very much because all I was doing was going to gymnastics practices. But now it kind of feels like it is a little bit of a stressor and there isn't quite that much I can do about it. I mean, like I do everything that I can. Maybe there are some things that, you know, I should spend on less, but most of the things that I spend my money on feel worth it to me or are necessary for daily living. So it doesn't it doesn't always feel like there's things I can cut back on. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's just life, but I feel like it definitely is going to be a rude awakening in January or next January when, you guys aren't going to be helping out. I feel like, it's not so much that like I'm not gonna expect. It's not that I didn't expect you guys to help me out after that because I knew that from the beginning. I just know that it's gonna be a lot harder than I expect it to be, and have to think about ways like that to make up for that. That might take up free time I'd want to be doing something else with. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's also like hard because it always feels like it, especially when I'm not on co-op and having a job. It's like, oh, I wish I could just enjoy this semester, but you know, and I'll do these things like give myself days off or last semester I had 2 days off during the week, but then I just ended up getting a job and then I basically didn't have days off because I was just working on the days that I didn't have classes, which is kind of annoying, but I chose to do that. So I guess I don't know, it's definitely a learning curve for sure. I wouldn't say I definitely live a pretty privileged life. I don't think that I could say that I'm struggling at all because I know I have support in other ways. Um and I mean a lot of people have it way worse, but yeah, it's definitely difficult for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, you get the allowance and the rent paid for. There are different levels below that are totally familiar to a college student. But you can even just imagine what it would be like if you didn't have if you knew that you had enough to live, but also didn't think that anybody could back you up if something big happened. You know what I mean? Like, even if you knew you had exactly all the money, you're making
Right.
enough money for rent and food and whatever, tuition, but
Mhm.
you you weren't sure, like, if something really big was to happen, like if you got sick or if there was a repair that needed to get made or you had to make a last minute trip somewhere because something important was
Mhm.
happening. Um, there are people that, have just enough to live and feel pretty comfortable with it, but don't have a backup. And being able to have a backup is also just I think a privilege that you have that you don't even you have to stop and think about it to realize, wow, that is lucky. If I didn't have that, it would be pretty stressful, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with, just, the support system that I know I do have in case I need it. It's just, because you guys have set those boundaries with, this is when we're gonna stop helping, sometimes it's like, "Okay, well, I just have to figure this out on my own." But, I save as much as money as I can, and I feel like it's definitely not gonna be enough, but I'll have to just figure out ways to get around that,
Yeah,
because I don't really have a
there's kind of like
choice.
a freedom in that, right? Well, you don't
But
have any other choice. It's not a freedom, but it's like an impetus or it's like an invitation to be as creative as you can to make ends meet, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, looking at it from, a very broad perspective, it is exciting, but, where I stand right now doesn't feel super exciting at all. But,
So a lot
you
of
know, what can you
adults
do?
my age have kids your age, and they're every time I talk to them about like what's next and things like that, they talk about how difficult it is for people your age to get a job. And tell me a little bit about like I know your close friend got a job, so she's good to go. But like you must have other friends that are out there job hunting and having a hard time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone is always like, "Oh, co-op is gonna help you get a job," but honestly, not even necessarily. I think a lot of people really struggle with it, and, I have a lot of friends that are job hunting right now. I think I only really know of my roommate who got a job, but it did take her a little bit. She had been, like, interviewing basically the whole semester, and it's also hard because I think most of the people that I know are job hunting right now, like, were looking for jobs during the last semester before graduation, but, wanted to be able to enjoy their last semester as well. So, like, now's the time. Um, which means, like, some people are moving home or staying in Boston while they figure it out or, like, finishing off their leases. But it definitely is very difficult. I think I can't really get a gauge on healthcare jobs at the moment just because most of my pre-med, pre-health friends have not graduated yet. It's more so everybody else who are other majors who have graduated. Um, and the thing with, like, healthcare jobs is that there's always something available, fortunately, but they don't pay well at all, and that is a problem that I'll have to deal with just because, like, it will if I would love to just, like, get a hospital job or at a health center. It just would not be financially sustainable if, like, I just did that full time because like, you're I'd get paid less than I'm making now, which is not that much at all. And yeah, so that's a little bit difficult. But yeah, the job market is definitely difficult. I don't really know of any of my friends that are currently job hunting who I guess I haven't asked everyone, but who aren't receiving help from their parents anymore. I mean, that's just like goes to show people that go to Northeastern, but like most of them are still getting help from their parents in certain ways, whether that be for rent or groceries, um, I don't know, little things, gas, I don't know. But like some people are still figuring it out and everyone's parents have like different levels of aid that they're giving. I think it's because the job market's so hard right now that I think people are giving a little more grace, um, or I guess my friends, based off what they're telling me. I feel like their parents are giving them a little more grace, just I don't know. Maybe that's just my interpretation of it and not actually the reality.
We
Um,
had Charmy
but
here
yeah,
as a guest a
rent,
few weeks back.
moving in, yeah.
And she was talking about one of the reflections she had upon graduating was she was so grateful that her parents didn't give her a hard time for doing something like a cafe job after graduating from college. And I know that when I graduated from
Mhm,
college, first of all, I got really lucky because there were a lot of jobs being thrown at everybody. It was when the dot-com boom happened, so there was a lot of jobs, but I felt like
mhm,
if I graduated from college and I took, just some job that I could have gotten while I was in college or even in high school, that I was
mhm,
embarrassed for that, like I felt this like pressure to get a job that
mhm,
defined my like worth. Which seems like when I reflect on it, like, my goodness, who put
mhm.
that much pressure on you, little 22-year-old? But, yeah, I did feel that pressure a lot, and my sense is that your generation doesn't feel that as much because everybody has kind of, like, the understanding that there's not a lot of jobs out there.
Uh, honestly, no. I mean, like, no one's gonna be like I guess none of my friends are gonna be like, "Wow, you're getting a cafe job," but, like, there is definitely that sentiment still, and which makes things even harder because like it is so hard, and it makes it even harder because people have been doing internships every single summer of college, or in Northeastern terms, like have been doing multiple co-ops. So it's like at that point, it's like, I mean, everyone is at the same page of like, I don't have a job, but it's like, why am I not getting a job? Because I've been doing so much and have put so much work in already. So it's just like, I don't think people want to get the like cafe jobs or like retail jobs necessarily right off the bat. But I mean, I definitely am like considering that for next semester just because I need something that is like can be flexible and part-time work. It's just like annoying that, I basically had to think about it now and like won't really be able to have like the flexibility that I want next semester, but maybe I can
What
figure
do you
something
need
out.
flexibility next semester for after you graduate?
Not after I graduate, but when I like in my last semester, I still am taking 4 courses and have like, we want to go to Chicago to watch my dad run the marathon. There's the holidays. So it's just like, and this semester is not that long. So it feels like, and this is what happened when I was working my job last semester. I just feel like, there's a lot of weekends I just like, have other commitments, which is not great when you're trying to get a job. But I mean, 3 months of a job is better than 0 months, so we might just have to do that, um, and just continue doing that. But yeah, definitely really stressful time for a lot of people and that have graduated and don't have those past post-grad jobs. And then for me, who just have to think ahead and, it's just not a fun thing to
Yeah.
have to think
Well,
about.
what is your plan as far as how much money do you want in the bank before you graduate, so that you feel comfortable to be able to live out in Boston on your own for at least the 8 months left of your lease?
I don't know. I don't think that there's an amount that I want, but I don't know if I'm like ever like going to be able to get that unless I get a full-time job, which I don't really want to look for right now just because like as of right now in this moment, I want to live in another place, whether that be at home or I don't know. So, and I feel like I'm like itching for, something other than Boston next, which makes it hard because like if I do look for full-time jobs and, that kind of keeps me here for at least a year. Um, past, graduating in December. So I don't really think I feel like a sense of comfort in the foreseeable future, which is like annoying, but the product of my own
I mean, it's
decisions in
also a
past years.
product of your
So,
age. Like
um,
that is
I
like
guess we'll see.
anybody who is my age remembers what it's like to be in your 20s, where everything is just not stable. You don't know where, like, there are so many options available to you, and you wish that you could just have some stability, but you don't have the luxury of having stability because you don't know what opportunities are going to come your way. So at the end of December, when you graduate, if you get this really cool opportunity to work someplace in the Bay Area, then the problem is you have a lease that's in Boston that takes you all the way from January to August. So what do you do with it? You have to find like somebody to sublease.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I feel like those situations like that is honestly like a very easy fix. I think subleasing in the Northeastern community is pretty easy because everyone is studying abroad and going on co-ops and all and whatnot. So like that if I got myself in that situation, I don't think it would be hard to find someone to sub at my apartment for at least a semester, and then, maybe I'd find someone else to do it over the summer. But um yeah,
Yeah, there are
yeah,
situations like yeah. So like
yeah,
as an
not
example,
fun.
the guest that I was talking about, Charvy, who was here, she had a whole plan about starting physical therapy school in June. And then the school that started in June put her on a wait list. So then she committed to the school that started in September and decided to make a summer. She got herself a summer opportunity doing a yoga training. Then then the school took her off of the wait list. So then like all of her rental situation, finding an
Mhm,
apartment, the plans that she made for the summer had to all shift because like opportunity shift. Like that those are the type of hard things that like 20-year-olds go through,
mhm,
Like or even like moving in with like a significant
mhm,
other and then like oops, it doesn't work. So now what do we do? Like that kind of stuff happens all through your 20s and
mhm. Yeah,
maybe early 30s and you just kind of have to roll with the punches basically.
yeah,
Or roll with the punches, go with the
yeah.
flow.
It's not gonna be
Punches
great,
sounds like
but
it's
we'll
like you're
see.
being pummeled, but maybe just like go with the flow.
I feel a little bit pummeled, so it's I feel like that might be the better way to describe it. But yeah, I guess maybe I don't have any regrets, but there
Like
probably
what?
are some things I could have done differently. And
Like
now I'm here. I don't know. I there's like I don't know. I could have saved a lot more money in college or got different jobs, but I didn't. So now we're here. Or, chosen a different um uh what's the word I'm looking for? Chosen a different career path too. Could have done that. But I mean, I like what I'm doing now. It's just annoying that it isn't quite
a long
sustainable.
road ahead of you with your chosen career path of going to medical school. And I know we've talked a lot about it, babe, but maybe one day soon you'll give everybody an update about where you are in your path.
There's no updates now, so maybe in 6 months I'll have something to share.
Yep. Well, at least you know the challenges that you have ahead of you, Like you know that you have this certain
Yeah.
thing that you have to do after you graduate and basically your
Mhm.
limits are defined, Like you have a lease, you know that you are have to find a
Mhm.
job so that you can support yourself. So and you have like skills and the intelligence to be able to do what you need to do to make ends meet, even if it's not an ideal job or situation.
Yeah. True. Very true.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for today. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.